Fight or Flight, where we're all about those who grind hard and rise above the noise. From rural Maryland to the pulse of the global scene, we're chopping it up with the real ones. The innovators, the agitators, the creators, those who are making waves in product design, art, culture, entertainment, tech, and sport. Every episode here is straight fire, pulling back the curtains on those who turn setbacks, which we all have, into setups for continued success. We're diving deep into those specific stories, the ups, the downs, the good, the ugly, the epic comebacks that they have that will have your head nodding, hell yeah, I want to hear more. So don't sleep on us. Don't sleep on this. No, plug in, tune in, and join our crew as we vibe on the pursuit of greatness. Welcome to Fight or Flight, where every story hits hard, burns hot. Are you guys ready to throw down? Let's roll. So, friends, get ready to dive into the vibrant world of art and inspiration with our guest tonight. A visionary artist who speaks volumes through immaculate, geometric, abstract painting, each stroke telling a story of color and shape. Meet Wendell Shannon, affectionately known as Supreme. A true artist whose character traits and vibrant personality shines brightly and burns brightly, as well as his signature art form. As the principal owner and artist at Solely Supreme LLC, Supreme has spent over a decade crafting masterpieces that transcend mere paintings. They are experiences. Every painting tells a story. From private events to community gathering, his work promotes not just creativity, but energy and positivity to anyone that comes in its presence. That creativity does not stop at the canvas. He's an author of captivating tales where he highlights the power of friendship and overcoming life's obstacles. So this commitment to promoting positive imagery through minorities and projects like ABCs with TYE is truly commendable. It's an important note and something for you to consider that Supreme's impact stretches beyond the realm of art and literature. As an ILA 333 longshoreman at the Port of Baltimore, he and his brothers and sisters are going through some hardship right now with the collapse of the bridge. Our thoughts and prayers and love is sent out to the families lost and the families in mourning and families struggling. And our friend Supreme has been weaving his magic into the family of that community and his extended community for over a decade. His dedication does not end there. From leading volunteer efforts to cleaning and painting community basketball courts with a safe alternate foundation for education, Supreme is a force of good wherever he goes. Super Supreme, you are my multi-talented artist, entrepreneur, and advocate for positivity. I'm grateful to be chopping it up with you this evening, and I recognize tonight's discussion will be inspired, uplifting, and hopefully provocative. Wendell, tell us who you are, what's on your mind, and what you are getting after these days.
Who am I? First and foremost, a father, a man, a donor, a caretaker, a creative, a mentor, just all around good guy that's just willing to see the best in any situation. I'm someone who doesn't see no. I see not right now. I see find another way. And one of the quotes that I live by is either you find a way or make one.
Power.
There's a solution to everything.
Solution. Fantastic. And how is that expressed through your art?
Oh man. So my pieces are done through I want to say a significant amount of time. So I'm able to go through very strenuous, very hard life obstacles in the duration of making a piece. And I bring it back to the canvas. So a piece like that you see behind me, that was actually made over the course of a year. Just very finite, detailed line work where I'm pouring in and using the opportunity to create just to think life through very systematically. to gauge all of the variations of life's outcomes. So I just apply my life to the art.
So, with that in mind, can you share with us a pain point or a story that was challenging in life that you were able to then take the canvas, tell that story, and therapeutically sort of rise above whatever that the obstacle was that you were facing?
So before I actually was an artist, I was in school for business administration at Morgan State. Had a fascination, or rather appreciation, of art, but I was definitely not considered an artist. I definitely didn't pick up the paintbrush. That was the farthest thing that would be associated with me. But during my sophomore year in school, in college, I was diagnosed with four autoimmune diseases at the same time.
Mm.
I went to the hospital for pneumonia mid semester. I came out with four autoimmune diseases where my heart wasn't strong enough to pump blood to my extremities, causing me to lose the use of my hands for approximately 2 years. Yeah, in the duration of those 2 years, at 19, they were giving me medicines that were going to completely disable my independence.
Ooh.
And at a 19-year-old man, I'm wet behind the ears. That's not gonna, that's not something that I'm accepting. So as a result, I actually chose to go the physical therapy route, where I had to use my hands to hold a pen, pencil, to increase my dexterity, literally like this, to relearn how to write letters, numbers, and draw shapes. The most basic thing that you can think of. My hands would not open and close like that. Time went by, doing it daily developed into me like just hand drawing shapes with really precise. Then it became pattern. The pattern became design. The design developed into alternative works. The alternative works turned into paintings. The paintings turned into products. The products turned into murals. And now I teach not only my story, but I teach other artists how to do it.
What do you attribute your recovery to?
Faith and mental fortitude. Not accepting diagnosis, not accepting that I had a limit on what I could do or could accomplish.
With that diagnosis, I have to assume things got very dark. How dark and depressive were they? And how long after those episodes did you find the salvation in art and paint?
So I spent a lot of time alone. Um, facial facial recognition. I didn't look the same. My body had swelled. My hands had swelled. I didn't look like myself. Um, I did not go out in public for quite a bit of time. It was very seldom that I allowed my friends to come see me. I isolated, and I want to say diverted and found solace in the art.
Mm.
Um, it was more of a embarrassment. Like, how could I be going through something like this at this age?
Mm.
Um, at a younger age, you don't understand the whys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, in life, you never understand the whys. But for me to be 19, going through illnesses that they said were pretty much for 50s, 60s, and up, I was just so confused with no hereditary history, medical history in any of my family. So I became a little more reclusive, a lot more private, learned to isolate and find happiness by myself. Despite me being a hyper social, hyper loving, charismatic person
Yes.
that you may get to see, I had to force myself to withdraw, and that is what I believe hurt the most. As many of my friends were accomplishing their goals within school, graduating the whole nine, I was on my own.
On your own. So, would you consider this depression, or was it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're dealing with
Absolutely.
depression, we're dealing with physical limitations, we're dealing with emotional pain. You're painting, you're exploring and getting your emotions out on canvas. Where did you find inspiration outside of your faith to drive art and art context during this time?
It was inner. That was all inside it. I couldn't say I saw something. I couldn't say nobody introduced me to anything. It was, I have to do this. I have to find a way to let it out.
It's interesting. Several of the people that we've enjoyed on this podcast have all spoken about the same thing, which is in the face of adversity to find a passion, and that passion tied to a project, so that the project can calm the mind and bring mindfulness outside of whatever the subconscious is trying to solve. And I'm not trying to be a physician or super intellectual here, but it's quite remarkable to hear you speak to this, recognizing how accomplished you are right now. And I'm seeing you
Thank
all over Be More and hearing you're buzzing. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's remarkable.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
So let's lean into your art a little bit. So we're dealing with this dark period. We're the phoenix. We emerge. We come out stronger, better for that experience. And then, how does the art commercialize? How does it become seen and in demand? Because you just spoke at the
Yeah.
Visionary Art Museum. You're in demand right now.
Yes, yes. I'm blessed and fortunate. But it took years. I mean, starting out, I drew these designs that led me nowhere. You know, I was in the beginning doing anything to sell the art. I mean, I'm drawing logos, I'm drawing portraits, landscapes, whatever people wanted to pay for, as long as I kept my hands active. Years go by of me doing that, and I actually applied to a show that was actually spearheaded by my current mentor. And when I applied to this show, I knew nothing about the fine art industry.
Hmm.
I knew nothing about how to be a professional artist. But I applied. I just had the goal, like, you know what? I feel like this is for me. Let me go.
Nice.
You know? Got the rejection. Instant. Instant rejection. They said the work lacked substance, it lacked quality. It was a horrible demonstration of what would be called the artist.
Oh
I mean, I
no.
got ate up in that, man. But again, that's something that rejection, that being turned down or being told you're not good enough, is something that burns a fire in me. I mean, in that time frame, I spent about 2.5 months making my first ever actual geometric abstracted painting. Day, night, long nights, 3, 4, 5 a.m.s, just churning away at this thing, right? Perfecting every line, every detail, because I wanted someone to see this and say, oh no, that deserves. That he is deserving. He has the talent. I needed that outward expression of I can do this. You know, so that time went by, and I remember being out in Las Vegas at the Agenda show. Um, I was out there and I just saw how all of these things were commercialized. I saw the vendors getting busy, the whole nine, and I saw myself, but I didn't know what it was yet. I just said I see myself everywhere. Lo and behold, I actually got a call back while in Vegas to come back and be a part of the show. And it just so happened that the show overlapped with Vegas. So they were like, yeah, somebody dropped out. You're the runner up. Can you bring a piece down today? I said, well, I'm in Vegas, but I can make some calls and make that happen. Next thing you know, the piece was in the show. It was represented for the first 2 days, and I made it back on the last day. When I walked into the show, I'm there with about 50 other professional artists, all coming up to me, complimenting the piece that they seen. The mentor that I told you rejected me actually said, for you to be this young black artist, let alone here in Baltimore, we need to let you know how special this piece is. It originates from France, the distill movement from P.A. Mondrian. At the time, I swear, I have no idea who he is. I never researched the guy. I just made something. But once they told me that, that clicked. If it's rare, demand. If I am the only person to do it, demand. If I can figure out how to put it everywhere, demand. marketing. So from there, I just spent years. I immediately walked away from the money aspect of art, going from making probably about, at the time, I want to say about 2,500 a month just doing odd jobs in art, to nothing. Like I went back against the wall doing nothing because I had to force people to respect my design. And the more that I do it, the more places that they saw it, the more they'd appreciate it. This led to larger canvases, about 8 to 10 feet, forcing them. It's out of your price point, but you have to see it. You can't help but notice it. Exploring the world of product design. Now it's in motion. How did you do that? We didn't even know you knew this. Learned it. To murals, interior and exterior, painting on places that you have to respect its scale. I've always done things from a place of, I need you to understand, I need you to visualize, or I need you to see me.
Mm.
My level of discipline, my level of potential, it shows through my work.
Very, very powerful. I hear intentionality. I hear perseverance. I hear agility, focus. We hear so often that taking that first step is the most difficult. And when rejection hits people, many fall down. They may get back up, but not on the same path. And clear, you've charted a path and a trajectory of this is where I want to be. You envisioned it, and we hear about those visionary skills that go with the visionary arts. So it's pretty spectacular. The question that I have for you is one that I ask many artists, both accomplished and emerging. How do you balance the love and the passion of making art for art's sake versus art to make a living?
It's a combination. Again, I was in school for business, and the fact that I had to do a medical withdrawal, not necessarily a dropout, but withdrawal, compelled me to want to learn the business and apply it to what I developed loving, which was the art. So consistently putting myself in rooms to learn from other people, taking the knowledge from the bookstores and hoarding it and just trying to figure out how to apply it, it developed from just being about what I love to do to how to monetize, how to scale, and how to live off of the art. That transition took years, and I'm honestly still perfecting it. It never stops. But you separate the two by making passion projects that I do whenever I don't have paid projects. So yes, I'm always working. May not always be paid for the work, but I am always working. I'm always honing in on the skills, and that dials back to the practice of me painting every day, a part of my immune system, my diseases. I paint every day, regardless if somebody's going to pay me for it or not. And that's what blesses me to make these massive creations that, a lot of my fans get to see, or whether it's some smaller works that I'm making as commission pieces.
We had the opportunity to start a small project and business together a while ago, along with a community of other artists. And we won't mention any names to protect the guilty, as I say. But you brought in a business acumen about copyrights, ownership, contracts, licensing, product extensions that was well beyond what anyone else was discussing with me. And I was um, very respectful and curious. Does that level of insight into the art and the business side come from education, i.e., your schooling before you withdrew, or school of hard knocks, or people within your community? How did you learn about artist rights, artist royalties, artist contributions?
It didn't come from school. I wasn't at that level at Morgan at the time, and we're talking about 08, 09,
Mm-hmm.
so the years ago. But you fail enough times, and you place yourself in situations in hot water enough to know what the right temperature is. You know, plenty of situations where I've unsuccessfully failed I'm, you know what? I'm gonna change that. I've been in plenty situations where I successfully failed and came out with the lesson.
Mm.
So now I know what to read for. I know what what words to look for in certain documents. I know about propriety. I know, you know, there's certain
Yeah.
um it definitely came from the school of hard knocks because you get knocked down so much that you become the sharpest. You become tactically prepared in situations of negotiation, or you begin to vet all of your losses versus the opportunity and realize what you're risking before you sign that dotted line. Now I just go into all of these rooms, even with me now being in a master's program of business of art and design now at Micah.
What? Okay, Micah, Maryland Institute College of Arts, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
I received a bachelor's waiver from Micah despite not graduating, based off of my experience and what I displayed. And in situations like that, you're able to express or leverage the losses. Like, I'm valuable because I've lost so much and now I know what not to do.
Did anyone help you come with that perspective, or is that all self?
I put myself in a lot of good rooms. The not taking no for an answer, that's definitely self. The motivation, the finding solutions, I vet my circle really well. I listen to people who have my best interests. I listen to people who pray with and for me. Um, but I also have risk takers around me that are on their own ventures. And we come together, we learn from one another, we learn from each other's failures, we learn from each other's wins. We place each other in rooms that we may not be in.
So you're open, you're susceptible, and inviting of different perspectives and different inputs, but you're also careful in verifying what's coming in so that you know how to apply it, and you're not just being pushed or pulled in directions that aren't healthy for you.
For certain.
Sage advice. So there are many that are going through setbacks, especially post COVID, with business and personally. How you create impact that stretch beyond yourself and take within is amazing. And I've always recognized you as not only an artist and a literary poet, but I had the great fortune of meeting you, your son, and your father, 3 generations at one time. And for one that doesn't have that per se, it was quite remarkable. And that was at a business gathering where it was strictly for the artist, and you rolled in like, "Yo, here's the fam, and this is the way we bounce. Take it or leave it." And I'm like, "Mad respect.
Yeah.
You all are family now. Welcome to us." So
Thank you, thank you.
I had to put that out there because I recognize that your
Oh
level
yeah.
of mindfulness and awareness, family is very important to you. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I tend to be very intentional and resourceful. So I didn't have a cameraman, but I know that was a highlight of my career. That was a big moment. So, one extension obviously was invited out, but even more so, I know how and why I'm grooming my son. I'm exposing him to everything that I do. There's not a place that I go, you know, that he's not invited to because he has to see me in this regard. I won't allow my love for creativity to be something that divides me and him time wise, or two, he misses the opportunity to see what he can do with whatever craft he decides.
I got to tell you, your little man is a rock star. He's got a vibe and a look about him that is just dynamite, man. I really enjoy his company, and I know he's an artist himself. So the
Yes.
apple has not fallen far from the tree. Can we flip the script for a moment? So we've dived into art. We've talked about the fact that you chose to fight and not flight from the challenges confronting you, which are remarkable. It may have crushed others. and mad respect for what you've been through and where you are today. Can we talk just a moment about what it means to be a longshoreman and what is going on in the port of Baltimore right now?
Oh yeah, man. That was a hard day. Um, waking up at 5 a.m. and just not even the news, checking social media and just seeing it all down the timeline. It's something that I instantly knew would have a dramatic effect on my life. Not only mine, but all of my longshoremen brothers and sisters. For those that don't know, longshoremen are the individuals who go on the cargo ships to um, either secure or unload cargo for international trade. That includes everything from cars to tanks to buses to cranes to trains, helicopters. I mean, it comes by boat. Down to your grain, your grocery that comes by container. It's plenty. It's plenty of everything. That's the best way that I can put it. Comes by boat before it gets to the over the road truckers and gets to the stores that everyone loves to shop at. So it's a very pivotal and impactful part of the supply chain. Without it, there's a long detour. There are more, even on the micro scale, you're looking at increased shipping expenses because you may have to go to another port before something gets to your store. So we go on and secure and dis- unload all of the cargo before it either goes out to sea or when it comes in and touches our shores.
So, with the bridge coming down, the uncertainty of employment and career, not knowing how long this challenge is going to be in front of you, how has this experience influenced your current art?
Adaptability is no stranger to me or my work. Um, I'd like to say that being at the port, being a longshoreman, built up a level of fortitude, a level of
Could imagine.
wind in my lungs,
Yeah, for sure.
bravado. Like, man, listen, I'm going big. I'm going. I'm doing it all.
Yeah.
I it was strategically done to amplify what, when, and how I can do many things art related.
Mm-hmm.
With that blow, I'm not gonna say it was a humbling experience because I don't believe in that. It was more of a fight or flight. You said this is what you wanted to do. You said you were ready for full time artistry. You said you were ready to push it. Push it. Every day I wake up, I say I just need more time. Just need more time to do this, that, and the third. Every project. Now I'm churning out projects in a day,
Ooh.
commissions in a day. I mean, you name it. It taught me, in combination with some classes that I'm taking and coaching courses that I'm taking, it taught me how to monetize, how to be strategic, how to understand my market, how to understand my clients and hear their needs, adapt to those needs in order to get what I need for sustainability.
Well, hold up. Let's lean in on that because
Let's go.
everyone talks about the 4 hour work week and wanting to be, caffeinated and more efficient. What you're getting work done like Superman, the $6 million man, crushing it. Because I
Yeah.
recognized the painting behind you was months of effort. So,
Yeah.
how does that timeline? Because time is our most precious commodity for many.
Yeah.
How do you become more efficient? What are the secrets that you can share with us?
Well, my secret was just simply knowing that if I don't do it, it's not getting done.
I'm not
So
eating.
like,
I got to feed
there's
myself.
nobody. There's nobody coming to save me. There's
uh,
nobody that's going to come finish this piece, right?
yes.
So even after a 10, 15, even 20-hour day at the port, I guarantee myself that my promise is always to myself, no one else. I guarantee myself that I'm coming in here to put in some hours.
Put the work in.
You know,
Do the work.
pieces like that take, I want to say that was a 1 year, March to March. March makes a year on this piece. And I still got a few things I want to do to it. But saying that to say, with now taking the time that I prayed for, that I asked, I said, I need just more time to figure my business out, to go all in for myself. There are now other sizes, there are other now other designs and paintings that I'm doing in a day, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, extending past a day. But I'm teaching myself that level of discipline that I can have elsewhere. I got to apply it to myself,
Yes.
not to diminish me balancing a full on career and artistry, but apply that discipline when I don't have a schedule. Yeah,
Yep. Well, that creates a schedule for you because you have the discipline of knowing what the end result's got to be. I've got to complete a commission or I need to prep for this
that's a fact.
expo. Straight up, straight fire. I got you.
That's a fact.
Yes.
It's pushed me well beyond the limitations that I see a lot of people have. A lot of my counterparts, contemporaries, whether they're artists or friends with regular 9 to 5s, they're solely dependent on one thing, or they rely so heavily on one thing. When that foundation shakes, they don't have anything to hold them up. And I found myself in a position where, despite this collapse, I'm sitting on abundance of art, of merchandise, of things that I've sacrificed a Friday night for years ago, that I'm just sitting on it and decided to use it for the better.
You are poetry in motion. For sure. For sure. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Really honing in and focusing on the craft and the trade, but also having a goal. And I think what I'm taking away from this conversation so far is intentionality, goal, envisioning a better future, not focusing on what you don't have, but where you want to go. And you have the responsibility of your son and your father. So family, which some of us don't have and some of us do have, has been a source of strength as I've gotten to know you better and a moment for inspiration and uplifting. Supreme, I encourage you to write another book. And I'd like this
Yeah.
book not to be a children's book. And whether you get a ghostwriter or whether you do it and give it away for free, I'd like you to write a story about your your health experience and where and how that's taken you at such a young age. Because whether you're
Yeah.
elderly and confronting failing health or younger, there's a message there of beyond just perseverance and overcoming that obstacle. So when you're ready, if you need a ghostwriter, I got a dear friend that does that, and I'll be happy to make that introduction for you. But um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, as it relates to tonight's discussion, where is Supreme going to be in 5 years, and what is coming down the line for you? What are you working on today? What superlatives and props can we throw out there and shine on you?
I just posted something to my social media like about a week or two ago, where my mentor said, "Keep your eye on him, because the minute that you take your eyes off of him, that's when he's doing 10 different things."
Yeah, like
Right?
driving to Florida. You did that road
Listen,
trip looking for gators where there
that's
were no gators. So keep an
that's
eye
right.
on you, my friend.
Taking advantage of the opportunities that I've prepared for,
Mhm.
but had to be patient and wait for.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
I've done investments in myself years ago, where I wrote out, who am I? What do I want to do? And where do I want to be?
yes.
Part of that was being a traveling artist. In order to do that, I needed a truck, I needed a trailer to be accessible at any given moment to go anywhere. Did that. Check those off the list.
Boom.
2 years later, just sat on it. 2 years later, I got the opportunity to go do a show, in Florida, in Naples. But
A long drive. I know.
long drive.
I've done that.
De- Definitely a long drive. Had a ball doing it. It was well worth the experience. Just to say that I went for broke in my career for anything.
Just put yourself
I'm
out
going
there.
for broke.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Incidentally, I made one trip to Florida by car, and I
Whew.
didn't recognize I needed to check the oil in my engine. And when I got to Miami, I threw a rod and ruined my auto.
Oh my
So
God.
that's a different story on my.
I drove to Miami too. I did. I went for broke with that too. Miami during Art Basel. That was I think 2014. I risked it. I said, you know what? I'm going for it.
Well, isn't that part of it? Isn't part of it just putting yourself out there and at times just saying, you know what? I'm not thinking
Right.
about going for broke or being bust. I'm going to have the experience, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's scary when
That's right.
you're driving and you're alone with the windshield time, going, "Whew, what am I doing?" But isn't that what the fabric of it's all about? The fabric of making it happen.
That's what makes us. That is the fight or flight concept.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity. Do you run and run for cover, or do you run towards, the guns blazing? I've planned as best I could. I've planned out where saw myself, what I wanted to do. I saw myself in fashion. I saw myself in retail. I saw myself in murals, film, movies.
Film.
Absolutely.
Stallone, Schwarzenegger.
Not necessarily me being the actor,
Ah,
but placement.
nice. Oh, even better.
Placement. hmm
Product and
I,
art and
I've
yes.
I've seen myself. Let me say it this way. There's nowhere that I don't see myself, uh, in terms of my design and its application, and there are no limits to it. I just got to figure out how. Once I know the what, I just got to figure out the how.
Okay, so hold with that. So outside of the Visionary Art Museum here in Maryland, where can someone go to see your art? Do you have a gallery that's open by appointment, or there locate? I mean, where does one outside of social media dive in deep?
The best way now is my website. It's wssfineart.com.
What does the WSS stand for?
Wendell Supreme Shannon.
I got it. Thank you very much.
That's right. But no, I actually shut down the former studio gallery with intent because I plan on opening a formal studio gallery closer to the city, closer to the fans. Before it was more of a home based, and now I'm in a transitional period of figuring out the best way to bring that vision to life, where I can apply the nonprofit aspect, have some programming done in the communities that need it the most.
And as far as a gallery is concerned, because one never knows where a podcast lands and on whose ears. In a perfect world, is it a standalone? Is it part of a community center, an education center? Is it got a retail component? But is it add some dimension to it
My,
so we can see
of
and feel your
course,
vision?
of course. So I have two variations, and go with what works. The path